what's going on? It's the Petrol List.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrol List, and thanks for tuning in. The 2023 Formula One season is now complete. I mean, arguably, you could say it was complete back in Qatar when we knew who the driver's champion was, and also we knew there was little to no chance that anyone was going to catch Red Bull for the Constructors' Championship. So I think the rest of the season has been teams jockeying for position, drivers jockeying for, the top 3, 4, 5 spots outside of first place, of course. And that did provide for, a little bit of interest, a little bit of excitement. We had some interesting races. Qatar was, for better or for worse, a very interesting one. Monza, I think Vegas, again, I think maybe the best race of the season. Abu Dhabi, a little dry. I have a couple of theories about that, but we'll get into that in a second. Firstly, let's get into how the race actually went. This was the first race in quite a while where we didn't have a crash in lap 1. Fantastic. Everybody wins. The drivers, the fans, the stewards. It's nice to have a race get off to a clean start and you can just enjoy it without a safety car and without your favorite driver, whoever that might be, being out of the race at the very beginning. Leclerc's car did what current Ferraris do best, which is start off really fast, and then they let the tire degradation take over, and you end up losing pace for the rest of the race. I really didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did, so I'm just going to keep it. Tsunoda started in P6, ended in P7. Now that doesn't sound great, but it was enough to earn him driver of the day. And I think this was more of a relative thing. It was driver of the day relative to AlphaTauri, because in order to keep in the AlphaTauri machine in the top 10, especially that high in the top 10, that is an accomplishment. And I think perhaps sophisticated fans understand that, which is why they gave him driver of the day. One could argue that a couple of drivers gained more spots and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It's complicated. Trying to keep that thing, I don't know. I've not been a Formula One driver, but trying to keep that thing real high in the lead pack, I think is a testament to Tsunoda's driving abilities. Hamilton had a bit of a fender bender with Gasly. I mean, this one was Hamilton's fault, but it was a bit more of a racing incident, I will say. No further investigation was needed on that one. And to be fair, in lap 1, Verstappen drove Leclerc off the road, which was not counted as, an infraction either. So I guess whatever. It's really difficult to figure out how the stewards are going to react. But then again, stewards in Formula One, they've got a really tough job. And also, I'm sure there's, politics and entertainment value. I'm not necessarily letting them off the hook, but I guess the stewards are part of the show. You never know what they're going to call next. There were the pit lane infringements. I don't even know what happened there. I didn't follow up. They said they would investigate it after the race. Once I found out that it was more of a pit crew, safety gear thing, and that it was going to be fines and not the shuffling of driver places, I kind of lost interest. Take care of that. Do whatever you got to do, especially to keep people safe. And I'm trusting that that's what that was all about. So let's see. Sainz and Hamilton both had terrible races. I think their cars weren't functioning optimally for race pace, and Perez actually gave Mercedes second in the Constructors' Championship by by colliding with Norris and earning himself a 5-second penalty. So thank you, Perez. It's the least you could do, especially in Abu Dhabi. Wink, wink. I'm sure you guys know what I mean there. Russell held on to the podium, and Red Bull clinched 1 and 2 for the Drivers' Championship, and Hamilton third for the Drivers' Championship. Mercedes second for Constructors. So third for driver, second for Constructors. That's not terrible. It's really, truly not terrible. Anybody else would be, excited about that season. And of course, people are saying Toto Wolff should be fired for getting second in the Constructors' Championship and having one of his drivers get third. Everything is relative, isn't it? Isn't it? Let's talk a little bit about the track. Now, I think something that made the track uninteresting is the effort that it took to pass was just tremendous. You could see the passes coming, a mile away because they had to try lap after lap after lap, and you had to have such a head of steam to pass on this track with these cars that I don't think anything was a surprise. There was no shock. The passes were slow. There was nothing, amazing or aggressive. It was just holding on to grip for dear life slowly. And the visual aspect of it, it kind of reminded me of just passing somebody on the highway. The passes were slow. They were predictable. They were cautious. I mean, as cautious as you can be at, 200 miles an hour, but you know what I mean. There were no surprises. The race really had no surprises. Even Verstappen's lead at the end of the race was no surprise. And I think for entertainment purposes, races should have surprises. Seasons should have surprises. As a matter of fact, the best one that we had was Perez's 5-second penalty, and we were going back and forth with predictions around Ferrari being second in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes, and they even developed a quick graphic on the screen to show, the predictions, but looking at the track itself wasn't necessarily that entertaining. Not really too much more to put into that race. I want to talk about what's coming up, especially for the channel. So this is primarily a Formula One channel. You can see here my lovely wife for my birthday got me these track maps. I think they go really well here. What do you think? But with the season being over, got to talk about something. Now, I put out a little poll. I think only a handful of people responded, but I said, what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about electric cars and electric car, fails and all that kind of stuff? New cars, supercars, car shows. And overwhelmingly, it is Formula One off-season developments. So I'm going to have to put on my glasses and really study the material week over week so I can bring you the developments. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I think only about 10 to 15% of the folks who watch my content on a regular basis are subscribed, so go ahead and hit that button. I would love to see the channel get bigger, and I have more vests. I'm fully invested. So if you like vests, track maps, helmets, and ill-informed opinions, this is the channel you want. I think that's about it for today. happy Monday, and I'll see you soon. You know what? I changed my mind. That was a terrible ending. Let's do a sneak peek of what we'll be talking about a little bit, right? So, the 2024 season, this winter is going to be incredibly important. Ferrari, I think, has a good chance of coming into the 2024 season swinging. They know what's wrong with their car. There's tire degradation, and for certain tracks, toning down the downforce to let the car be faster has been, a huge, advantage for them, especially like the faster tracks like Monza. Where they're really falling down is trying to find a balance between, downforce and straight line speed. They know exactly what their problem is, and I think they have a chance of solving it over the winter. Mercedes, on the other hand, they have had multiple problems, and every time they come up with a fix, it seems that it yields a new issue for them. I know that there are going to be several manufacturers that are going to be running completely new cars, not new regulations, but completely new chassis that follow the current regulations in the 2024 season as they try to catch up with Red Bull. Some are going to keep what they ran this year and make smaller tweaks. There are very specific suspension types that cars are able to run. Red Bull is using a specific suspension type that I think other cars are going to be switching to as they try to be more competitive. Now, there's also the 2026 season. The cars are going to be completely different. You're not going to pull anything from 2024 into 2026 because the cars are literally going to be smaller. I'm excited for that season. And I think, I'm not sure, Audi might be, part of the powertrain for that season as well. 2026 is going to be amazing. But if Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren can do some really good testing, some really good upgrades to their cars during this wintertime, we stand to have an exciting 2024. My fingers are crossed for that. While I would like to have, my team win, I prefer that everybody, at least the top 5 teams, are competitive because I like racing. So good luck to everyone. Let me know in the comments which of Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, who's going to come out stronger, and why do you think so? I'm going to try to track that as much as possible in the off season. Bring you my insights, bring you any news that's available regarding the development, and play some friendly non-monetary bets on who is going to be the biggest challenge for Red Bull in the next season. Okay, I think that's a better ending. I think we'll stop there. I'll see you maybe midweek when I talk about other stuff besides F1. Until then, I'm out.